Oh, no turning back now. May God be with you, everyone. Thank you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus said to his disciples, "Is a lamp brought in to be placed under a bushel basket or under a bed, and not to be placed on a lampstand? For there is nothing hidden except to be made visible. Nothing is secret except to come to light. Anyone who has ears ought to hear." Jesus also told them, "Take care what you hear. The measure with which you measure will be measured out to you, and still more will be given to you. To those who have, more will be given. From those who have not, what little they have will be taken away." This is the gospel of the Lord. Firstly, I just want to say what an honor it is to be up here. Steph, thank you so much for asking me to do this. It's awesome. About a month ago, I got a chance to see the movie The Greatest Showman. In it, Hugh Jackman's character, P.T. Barnum, is laid off from his job, so he opens up a circus. He gives people that would be otherwise shunned by society, such as Letty Lutz, a bearded lady, and Charles Stratton, who is a dwarf performer who goes by the name Tom Thumb, a chance to be in the spotlight. It takes him a while to realize that he's only thinking of himself, though. It's only after that he loses everything that he realizes what an impact he has had on these people that would otherwise not be seen. P.T. Barnum gave what society calls nobodies a chance to shine their light. As tonight's gospel tells us, there is nothing hidden except to be made visible. When I was in my high school youth group, I was constantly trying to fit in. Sound familiar? On the surface, I was really happy about finding a church that I looked forward to going to and wanted to seize every opportunity that was offered to me. There's a great quote by Brene Brown that really sums this up pretty nicely. She says, "Fitting in is becoming who you think you need to be in order to be accepted. Belonging is being your authentic self and knowing that no matter what happens, you belong to you." All of these opportunities at the time felt so important. Being retreat staff and even being Eucharistic minister or lector at one of the masses were being given to all of the other kids, and I had to ask to be a part of them. I was never sure why this was, but as Jesus tells us in today's gospel, instead of being placed on the lampstand that I was so desperately seeking, my light was being hidden. I was left feeling ostracized from the other kids and having to push my way into conversations and friendships. Another reason I felt left out was because of my ongoing realization that I was gay. Looking back, there's no doubt that I was and am gay. It just took a while to get there. I was terrified that if I came out to my youth ministering group, I would be shut out even more. When I got to college, I knew that despite my struggles in high school, it was important my faith be an integral part of my experience. So I joined a group called Campus Ambassadors, which had weekly worship nights, social events, and retreats sprinkled throughout the academic year. I loved it. I made a ton of friends, felt my spirituality was fulfilled on a weekly basis, and it caused me to put my thoughts of my sexuality on the back burner so I could focus on some of the amazing things God was doing in my life, letting my light shine instead of hiding it. Or so I thought. When I realized that my feelings of being gay weren't going away, and I knew I had to come out, I could share all of myself and love God at the same time. That was a mistake. At my 21st birthday party, I was pulled aside by one of my friends in this conservative Christian group and given a Pray the Gay Away book and encouraged to really think about the things that God had in store for me. It was after that I started going to the on-campus Gay Straight Alliance meetings, which were conveniently located in the basement of the building where those weekly worship services were being held to, make sure the whole campus knew who Jesus was. Awkward. So I finally realized I had to embrace my feelings instead of hiding them. And in 2011, around the time that I came out on Facebook without telling my parents first, hi Mom and Dad, I found Spiritus Christi. It didn't change the fact that I was nervous to be part of a new group of people though, because wasn't I just going to get pushed to the side again? Plus, isn't this church not going to practice the acceptance they preach, just like all of the others? Now, my mom had done her magical mom thing and noticed I was gay way before I did, and as a result, had not so subtly been nudging me to give Spiritus a try. So once I literally and figuratively had fallen and gotten back up a whole bunch of times, I finally decided to listen and give Spiritus a chance. And I've never been the same since. So I started getting involved. Most parishioners joke with me about how I seem to do everything here, which is kind of true. But I do it because this place saved me. It saved me when I was struggling with being gay. It saved me when my professional life had made me completely lose my sense of reality, and it brightened a light in me that never left, but had gotten pretty dim. After I got fired back in August of 2017, I found a job on Craigslist for an office assistant at another LGBT-friendly church. I thought, awesome, a job that I'll be good at and where I can be myself. That changed pretty quickly, because I was coming from a job where the powers that be didn't really pay attention to what was going on, and I saw this no one can touch me attitude stick with me, and I really struggled. Not only that, I was having to come to terms with some nonverbal learning struggles that I had ignored, which made working even more difficult. A good example of those learning struggles is that I have trouble with coordination and I'm sort of clumsy. This could translate into something as simple as hole punching a stack of papers and not getting it centered quite right, all the way up to misunderstanding directions given to by a supervisor and having it seen as being disobedient. After I was asked to leave that position after only 6 weeks, you can imagine how defeated I felt. But I immediately went to look for something else, and within a month, I had another job in a field that I thought was made for me, human services. This time, though, I was a case manager, which meant I was responsible for tending to the needs of a caseload of clients, including but not limited to finding them housing. Score, right? Nope. I quickly realized that the blasé attitude I had adopted at the shelter would not fly at this fancy professional office job. I quickly made little mistakes that turned into big ones, and because of my seemingly ever-increasing caseload, I became quickly overwhelmed. It was only after a panic attack in the bathroom at work and a phone call to my mom that I realized that I just couldn't do it anymore. So after a weekend to think it over, I came into work that Monday morning and quit. There's another quote from Brené Brown that succinctly sums up my experience. She says, "Only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light." When I look back on my experiences over the last few years, bravery is certainly not a word that comes to mind very often. The more I think about it, I was brave enough to recognize that I had fallen, and once I got through the fog of that other world I had gotten myself so deeply immersed in, I needed to put myself out there and ask for help getting up. As a result of all of that, I was finally able to truly be who God made me to be. Most importantly, my faith and sexuality were no longer separate things, but one and the same. There's a final story that I'd like to share with you tonight, centers around my time in the Boy Scouts. Years ago, when my family were at a dinner with the Chief Scout Executive at the time, he asked me what my proudest moment in Scouts was. I thought about it for a minute. And then I said it was that I did not have to ask for special accommodations in order to complete my requirements. Looking back, I realized that asking for help is never a sign of weakness, but my light was shining just because I was able to keep up with the other kids. Scouting is still one of the best things I've done to date. Fast forward to today. I'm about to celebrate 4 amazing years with an incredible man. I love the apartment that we share. I've stopped drinking, and my faith and sexuality are no longer mutually exclusive. And as of June 2019, I'm working for an amazing company that rewards their workers for hard work and compassion. And as a bonus, I get to see many of you folks on a daily basis. And as if that's not enough, my amazing parents and friends that I consider family have been with me every step of the way, even when I can't see it. So, as Kiela Stedel so beautifully sings in The Greatest Showman, when the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna set a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be, this is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies, this is me.